going to get started, and we're going to open this up by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is right over here. So, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let me just wipe this down, and then we'll have our first speaker come up.
Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you coming out today. In case you're not aware of who I am Cynthia Saunders. I'm the superintendent of the school district of Manatee County. And again, I really want to thank the media outlets for coming and broadcasting this event, as well as MSTV for streaming the event live. Before we begin, I also want to mention a few special guests who are here today and who also are here in spirit. First of all, we would not be able to go down this path of this initiative without our board members. And Dr. Hopes here to the left of me is here in person, but also I want to recognize Gina Messenger, our chair, Charlie Kennedy, our vice chair, as well as Reverend James Golden and Dave Watchdog Minor. Without their continued support of making sure that the safety of our students is a top priority, we would not even begin this initiative. As well as the Board of County Commissioners, Betsy Benak, Carol Whitmore, Vanessa Ball, Reggie Bellamy, Stephen Johnson, Misty Servia, and Priscilla Trace. I know we'll hear more about the support that we are also receiving from the county. Approximately 3 weeks ago, the number of COVID-19 cases continued to rise in Manatee County and across Florida. We organized a virtual phone discussion that included Dr. Bency of the Florida Department of Health in Manatee County, as well as Manatee County Government Administrator Sherry Courier and others. You will meet soon and begin discussions about what we could do to combat this effort. We knew that if we didn't do something collectively, we were going to have a very difficult time sustaining our school opening. So we knew it was a steep hill to climb, but collectively we knew we needed to put an initiative in place. Since last February, all of our organizations have been practicing and promoting the healthy hygiene and social distancing tips that have been made available through the CDC and our local Department of Health. And thank you, Mr. Minor, for attending. We have self-isolated. We've had employees work from home. We've washed our hands constantly. We've had our temperatures checked, and we have gone through the recommended steps for reopening. And here we are. What we've realized is we are talking a long time, but all of our efforts in isolation have not been working. Should we continue individually or separately within our own organizations? We don't think that that is really the most effective way to go. Today, we are announcing the creation of the Mask Up Manatee Coalition. All right, what a cute mask that is. But I have to tell you, I like the children mask that Sherry has on as well. Today, we're pledging to join together as government agencies, businesses, medical institutions, and nonprofit organizations to fight together against the COVID-19 spread. While the coalition has a central focus, we believe the thing that gives the effort its true strength is that it has a full endorsement and passionate commitment of all of the leaders and the entities involved. The purpose of the Mask Up Manatee Coalition is to speak with one voice, one clear voice, the voice that is specific to and for Manatee County. We believe we can do more if we are fighting this battle together. That is our goal. That is our mission. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Scott Hopes to say a couple of words on behalf of the school district.
Thank you, Superintendent. Our superintendent has worked long and hard in order to be able to welcome our students back on campus on August 17th. For the first time in nearly 5 months, we will be bringing our children of Manatee County, our students, into the schools. This partnership that has been created, I believe, is necessary because a majority of the parents in Manatee County have made it clear they want our schools to be open. In order for us to maintain our open schools, it takes the entire community to come together. And to our employees, we have guidelines for our students and our staff and classroom educators in our schools. When you leave our school buildings, you cannot leave behind your compliance with the CDC guidelines. If we work together through the Mask Up Manatee Coalition and partnership, we will be able to keep our schools open throughout the school year, but it will take the community coming together with us. Thank you.
And with that, I would now like to introduce Patrick Carnegie, the President and CEO of MCR.
Thank you, Superintendent Saunders. Today's announcement and unified agency commitment would not be possible without the growing list of local organizations that have already agreed to be a part of the Mask Up Manatee Coalition. We'll begin with local government and nonprofit agencies serving individuals in the community. The coalition is led by the School District of Manatee County, the Department of Health, and Manatee County government. They are joined by the following: Jake Sauer, Manatee County Public Safety Director, who's here with us today. Healthy Teens Coalition, represented by Marianne Legler, who's here with us, along with SCF collegiate student Dylan Desir. Unidos Now, represented by Luz Corquera. Where's Luz? Also, United Way Suncoast, Manatee Education Association, and Manatee County Community Foundation. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. Our local business leaders are also on hand with commitments from the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce, represented today by Tarnisha Clyett, Manatee County Chamber of Commerce, the Gulf Coast Latin Chamber of Commerce, the Lakewood Ranch Communities, Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance, Port Manatee, and also the Bradenton Area Economic Development Corporation. And a public health campaign would not be complete without the partnership of our important partners, including, of course, Manatee Memorial Hospital and the Lakewood Ranch Medical Center, Blake Medical Center, the Healthcare Alliance, and which is represented by Dr. Bill Colgate, who's here with us this morning. Also, the Medical Society, Centerstone, represented today by Melissa Larkin Skinner, who's here with us. Sunclose Blood Centers today by Joan Leopard, and of course, MCR Health. And now to tell you more about this coalition is the Health Officer of the Florida Department of Health, Dr. Jennifer Bensey.
Thank you, Mr. Carnegie. Good morning, everyone. Each and every one of us has a vital role to play in stopping the spread of this disease throughout our community and in the process preventing further illness and death. The only way to protect ourselves and each other has been and continues to be through preventive measures that most of us are probably well familiar with by now. COVID-19 is an asymptomatic disease that is, you can have it without showing any signs of having it. You can have it and not cough or sneeze or develop a fever. More importantly, COVID-19 is a highly contagious disease that flies under the radar, quote unquote. That is, Those who are asymptomatic can pass the disease to anyone they come in contact with face to face. Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, grandparents, friends, teachers, clients, customers, all without even knowing it. Again, the only way to protect ourselves and each other from spreading this deadly virus in the absence of a vaccine is to take preventive action. Mask Up Manatee brings this messaging home. The coalition and campaign are here to promote the preventive measures we're familiar with, but with a unique local voice and brand. These messages are, you'll see them on the slide, number one, wearing face coverings in public. COVID-19 lives in the spray that comes from your nose and mouth when you cough, sneeze, sing, shout, or even just talk. The face covering prevents your spray from getting into the world and infecting others. Without a face covering, you could be putting the health and lives of others at risk without even knowing it. Number two, washing hands properly and often. Use soap and water when possible. If soap and water aren't available, use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands with warm water and soap for no less than 20 seconds. Number three, practicing social distancing by remaining at least 6 feet away from those who you don't live with. And finally, wiping down high-touch surfaces with disinfectants whenever possible. You're removing any contaminated spray that anyone else may have had on their hands that transferred to doorknobs, door handles, countertops, and other surfaces that are frequently touched. On behalf of myself and my staff, we are honored to serve as a driving force behind the Mask Up Manatee Coalition and campaign. We will continue to research and supply the community with COVID-19 prevention messaging from the CDC, the Florida Department of Health, and other reputable public health resources that's timely, accurate, and diverse. We are excited about the creative approaches that coalition partners are already taking to deliver this messaging with a Manatee brand to all of our Manatee family members. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our County Administrator, Sherry Corrier. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bensi, and thanks everyone for being here. On behalf of your Board of County Commissioners, I'm honored to be a part of the coalition, along with Superintendent Saunders and Dr. Bensi, all the staff of the Department of Health and the school district in Manatee County government, and the work that's put into this effort so far. As you can see behind me, there's a broad community support for this unique partnership. Whenever our leadership team asked for another local agency to be a part of this, they stepped right forward with no hesitation. I do truly believe that this united effort, and over time, will help flatten the curve and ultimately sweep this disease from our community. I'm modeling the youth mask today under the Mask Up Manatee. You can see we're hoping that folks will see this unified effort within the Mask Up Manatee campaign. So with a wide array of medical agencies, local nonprofits, the business and community and local government partners, the Mask Up Manatee is the first group of its kind in the state of Florida. We're united in our resolve to combat the spread of COVID-19 and recovery effort that is already underway here in Manatee County. Mask Up Manatee is a group, not just of words, but also of action, and will measure our success by the actions that we take. Those actions, we believe, will help influence our over 411,000 people who live right here in Manatee County. Mask Up Manatee will be mostly an educational campaign in the early going. We will rely heavily on social media to spread COVID-related updates throughout our network of partners. The county government and school district have a combined Facebook following of 48,000 people. Many, many thousands more follow our chamber partners, local nonprofit agencies, and all of our medical providers who are already a part of this unique coalition. A list of the coalition agencies grows over time and will reach even more members of the community with important messages. We're looking for partners, and we hope people will sign on to be a part of the coalition. So now, a quick summary of the projects we have in the coming weeks. A series of graphics have been created promoting the preventative measures that Dr. Bensey just spoke about. Their graphics can be used by any member of our coalition partners to post to social media. There's also a set of graphics that an agency can download and customize the graphic with their own logo and their own photos. Mask Up Manatee is also about educating our children on the importance and reasoning behind wearing face masks. There is currently no shortage of face masks in Manatee County, but over time, cloth masks will need to be replaced. So last week, we authorized the purchase of over 50,000 face coverings using the CARES Act money that you're going to hear about in just a moment from our partner, Tarnisha Client. The Mask Up Manatee logo for adults is on our mask, and a more playful version for kids. When the face coverings arrive later this month, we'll distribute them in some of our hardest hit zip codes and the neighborhoods where face masks might not be so easily able to come by. The county and the school district plan to have the logo placed on the side of already owned fleet vehicles, and you'll be able to spot a Mask Up Manatee mobile in your community where masks might be available and where they're needed. After the school year begins, we'll have a chance to look at our talented workforce of tomorrow by asking local students to contribute to the coalition with social media sharing, video production, social media chats, and even more. There are virtually unlimited possibilities for the coalition to collaborate across age groups, agency affiliations, geographical areas, and many, many other barriers. Together with Dr. Bensey and Superintendent Saunders, I can tell you that we're committed to providing staff and agency resources to ensure that the Mask Up Manatee Coalition has what it needs to share information like no other campaign before. So on behalf of our board, I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this, and I'd like to turn it over to our business partner, Tarnisha Client.
Thank you, County Administrator Courier. I am Tarnisha Client. I am the president and founder of the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce. I am representing the broader group of the local chambers of commerce. As several of our leaders have referenced this morning, the local business community and other partners have already had a considerable effort to spread the information to our followers on the guidance of Dr. Bensey's team and from the CDC. But now it's time when we all unite under the Mask Up Manatee Coalition to spread a community message of resilience and of recovery. Mask Up Manatee represents nearly 20 local groups that provide services to our community's top interest. It will be about much more than a mask. The business community will be able to assess the coalition to spread news about the government grant opportunities and the CARES Act financial assistance to business owners and individuals who need it most. Our non-for-profit partners will also have access to the coalition's broad following to spread the word throughout the Manatee County about food drives, local hiring fairs, and other help for those who have suffered financial difficulties during the pandemic. Local medical providers will be able to assess the coalition to relay word to thousands of Manatee County residents about the need for convalescing plasma or to announce new COVID testing opportunities. I hope one day in the coming months, the Mask Up Coalition will also be able to spread news on the locations where Manatee County residents can receive vaccines that will lead the permanent eradication of COVID-19 in our community. In closing, the Mask Up Manatee Coalition is a growing group of local agencies with a long and broad connection to our community. We are committed to sharing information and our collective resources to educate, motivate, and elevate the people who call this great community their home. If you are a Manatee County business or agency that want to be a part of this coalition, please email us at maskupmanatee, that's all one word, maskupmanatee@gmail.com. Now we're going to see a slide or a brief video that will show in our schools.
You may be seeing a lot of people wearing masks in Manatee County and wondering why.
I wear a mask to protect my family and friends.
I wear a mask to protect our teachers and healthcare workers.
We wear masks because we care about you.
Coronavirus is a disease that you can have without knowing it.
Junior at Manatee High School. And also
You may be seeing a lot of people wearing masks in Manatee County and wondering why.
I wear a mask to protect my family and friends.
I wear a mask to protect our teachers and healthcare workers.
We wear masks because we care about you.
Coronavirus is a disease that you can have without knowing it. It's also a disease you can spread to friends, family, and others without knowing it. When worn correctly, masks and face coverings worn by people ages 2 and older can help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Masks are here to help us. People wear them to keep safe and healthy.
We've got you covered. Make sure your mask is over your nose and your mouth.
Underneath my mask, I wear a smile. It's protecting you and me from harmful germs.
Face masks help prevent coronavirus germs from getting into our community and infecting others when you speak, cough, or sneeze. In addition to wearing a mask or cloth face covering, wash your hands frequently. Use hand sanitizer before and after wearing a mask if soap and water isn't available. Face mask coverings should fit snugly against the sides of the face while still allowing you to breathe. Use the ear loops when putting it on and when removing it. Be sure not to touch the mask while you're wearing it.
And that features a diverse array of local students, local faces, spreading the news about the protocols that, again, Dr. Bensey and her team have been providing us with all along. And it's about making the message more familiar to the kids and the parents and the adults who live here in Manatee County. And so it's not such a foreign idea going back into the classroom. People will see their own friends and classmates on these videos and on the posters, and we think it's going to make it even more fun and relatable for those in the classroom and coming back to school. So with that, we'll open it up to a very brief Q&A related to the Mask Up Manatee Coalition. If you guys have any questions, please ask, and I'll repeat them for the microphone, and then either the appropriate speaker can come up and remark, or we'll tackle it a different way. So, Sam?
You know, we've been hearing these messages from all of you separately for months now. So what is this? How is this going to make a difference?
I don't mind taking that. You know, when the county administrator, superintendent, and Dr. Bensey called our organizations together, they recognized the need for this coalition to come together, a broad array of groups speaking with one voice, that people would recognize the leadership of the school district, the county, the health department, all speaking with one voice. And that's what we want this logo to represent, the authority and the leadership behind the organizations that are behind me. When you see that Manatee logo, it's going to represent all of us. And again, it's just a way for the community to see us as even more unified, and we think that they'll start to recognize that message even more, and it won't be such a disparate effort going forward.
Make sure I understand, did this start with the school district?
Sure.
Thank you. Excellent question. If you go back to the board meeting where Dr. Bensey and her team presented to the school board, ways in which we can work together to open our schools. As a public health professional, basically the board grasped on what we were hearing from parents, that the majority of parents want the schools to open and welcome their children back into our brick and mortar. And I think the exact words I said to the superintendent and Dr. Bensey was, let's leverage the community's desire for us to reopen our schools and keep them open and bring forth what you see here today. In public health, as you've noticed, we have all been saying the same message. The CDC, the World Health Organization, Dr. Bensey and her team, wear a mask, wash your hands, stay away from people you don't live with. And you're right, the message wasn't getting out. And so the hardest thing in public health is to figure out what the leverage point is. We are hopeful, I believe as a board, and Watchdog Miners here with me today, that the community's desire to open our schools and keep our schools open for the entire school year hopefully is enough leverage that the Mask Up Manatee Coalition and our messaging will get the community united for the benefit of our children and follow the guidelines that Dr. Bensey's team and the CDC have laid out for people. It is not that difficult. And so I'm going to be honest with you. This is our hope, to leverage the community's desire so that our businesses can get back to work, so that our children can continue their intellectual development, their emotional development, and no longer lose the momentum that the school board and the district has built up over the past few years. And so I'm hopeful that we are on the right track, and I appreciate the press getting the message out. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
Thank you, Dr. Hope. Can I just add something, Kim, real quick? And that's to say that when this coalition started to come together, we recognized the strength of this new brand and its ability to reach the multitudes with other important community messages, whether it's related to public health or now several of the speakers have talked about the recovery effort. We've got the Manatee Cares funding that's come from the federal and the state government, and we're doing everything we can at the local county government level to spread news of the economic opportunities that individuals and businesses have that have been hit hard by that pandemic. So, and we also referenced some of the medical opportunities. So Centerstone is here, and at the time, when the time is right, we'll start pushing out mental health messaging, or the need for convalescent plasma we talked about. So there's just all of these different groups have different messages to reach a larger community with, and that's where we see Mask Up being helpful to reach as many people as possible. Thanks, Kim.
Yes, exactly. And we know that the schools are vital for the success of our community and our business leaders as well. So we do have to have a safe environment for our employees as well as the children in our brick and mortar institutions. So we are hopeful because, as you've stated, we've all been saying these things and we've seen numbers increase. But I think we've just got to message it a little different, a little broader, with different facets. Because we are saying the same thing, we're just presenting it in a much different package, so that hopefully that will take hold and we're not going to have to close intermittently or sections of schools or the entire district. I know that does not benefit anyone, and as we've already witnessed that by the fourth quarter of the last school year.
Do we have a level where we're going to say at this rate we're going to close the schools back down? Do we have that at this point or no?
We work hand in hand with the local health department, and of course they work hand in hand with the CDC. We have a wonderful relationship with them, and we have conversations daily, sometimes multiple times a day. So all those decisions will be based on, you know, situations and day-by-day cases or day-by-day situations. There's not one magic situation. I think you have, I asked that same question to Dr. Bensi, but I think you have to look at how the spread or where the spread or the contact tracing is before you can draw those type of conclusions. But right now we're hopeful that we're going to be able to move forward, and I think we just need to figure out how we can do that in a safe environment. Mm-hmm.
How will Mask Up Manatee, are you guys involved if there is a situation at a school where somebody is COVID positive or something similar to that? How do you guys handle that once the kids are back?
Absolutely. We have all those protocols in place, and again, they are outlined by the CDC, but if you look at our website, they are posted, how we handle those individual cases. And then, of course, we put those individuals, we were fortunate to get a handle on it really quick, and then they're, of course, sent home to work remote, and the school's able to continue. We have a whole cleaning process and disinfectant method so that they can come back into the building quickly and safely. So we're hoping to have those instances happen less and less. And I think if we're all collectively following these practices a little bit more diligently, we won't have as many as the year goes through. But we do know that we need to have preparations in place in case those situations do occur. No, not since Monday. So we're hoping, again, that people will be a little bit more mindful. And again, Monday was the first day back. So what that's saying is there were activities or actions or involvements prior to school. And I think that's another thing that we were concerned about. When we have people into our businesses, into the work day, they're following all these diligent procedures and protocols because you have to. It's expected with any places of work. It's when you leave the place of work that you've got to continue following these same practices in your social life and in your home life. And that's where we're seeing the big disconnect. We need to make sure our students understand that as well, because we do not want them following these safe practices in school, but then when they go home or their activities outside of the school day, if they completely ignore that beyond the school day, then it's really not doing us any good. So I think that's really where our biggest barrier has been, and that's why we really do need our students involved with this campaign, because they're going to be instrumental in the success of what happens.
And on that note, you mentioned that you don't want to really stop the momentum,
How or if it, would it be detrimental if this momentum
stops? I mean, what do parents really need to know? It's not until you guys say, well, you're going to have to be stuck at home again, and you have to do virtual again. I mean, what will this really look like if a situation like this occurs again?
Well, if we are able to, or faced with a situation where we have to go back into a closure or a shutdown, of course, it is reminiscent of the fourth quarter. Although we've changed many practices of our delivery of our platform and instructional delivery model, we know there were a lot of hardships with that. There were students that did not have internet. There were parents that it was a hardship for their employment. They were not able to go to work if their children were not in a safe situation at school. So it is a rippling effect that does impact the community, which is why it's so important that we partner up with the community agencies and businesses, because it doesn't just affect the education of our students, it affects the economy of Manatee County. So we want to prevent any of those closures. for that hardship, but also for the education of our children. Parents obviously know the experts are our teachers. They feel the most confident and comfortable with our teachers instructing them. They're the professionals. They know what they're doing. Many parents have, I can't tell you how many emails I had that said, you know what? I need your school to open up because I do not know how to deal with my children all day long in this instructional venue. So they do understand that we are the experts. We provide the best education for their children in most cases. And that's what they want to see, and that's what they want to feel comfortable with. However, we do need to make sure that it's safe. We cannot have a rapid spread in a building or district-wide. And if it does get to a point that's critical, of course, we will work hand in hand with the health department, and we could have to go to such drastic measures. We want to be proactive. We want to prevent all of those situations as much as possible so that we can move forward with our community and move forward with the education that our students also deserve.
So 2 more questions, and then we'll break out for individuals if you guys need. Kim?
Yes. I use the analogy of the bubble. We have the NBA bubble, and fortunately here in Manatee County, we have the WNBA bubble. We cannot have a bubble full-time 24/7 at schools. However, we can try to make a community bubble through this type of initiative. So everyone needs to participate, as the superintendent said, because as people are moving in and out of the school system into the community, back and forth, you have to all be doing the same preventive measures. So again, this is why it's so important to tell the community, even if you're asymptomatic, please take these precautions, because again, there may be someone in your family, in your classroom, who has some underlying medical conditions or are going to be more susceptible to this virus that we're still learning about every day, that would put them at serious risk.
We definitely look at ADA accommodations and so forth, but the expectation is every person coming in to the school district, any building, will have a mask. We do have accommodations provided, but the expectation is everyone has to have a mask.
Thank you again, everyone, for coming out today, for helping us spread this information of public health in the interest of the students returning to the classroom. And over time, that message will change. And we appreciate your support in the local media and on social media with spreading that word. So with that, we'll call it to an end. And if you guys have individual interviews, we'll do them afterward. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
You may be seeing a lot of people wearing masks in Manatee County and wondering why.
I wear a mask to protect my family and friends.
I wear a mask to protect our teachers and healthcare workers.
We wear masks because we care about you.
Coronavirus is a disease that you can have without knowing it. It's also a disease you can spread to friends, family, and others without knowing it. When worn correctly, masks and face coverings worn by people ages 2 and older can help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Masks are here to help us. People wear them to keep safe and healthy.
We've got you covered. Make sure your mask is over your nose and your mouth.
Underneath my mask, I wear a smile. It's protecting you and me from harmful germs.
Face masks help prevent coronavirus germs from getting into our community and infecting others when you speak, cough, or sneeze. In addition to wearing a mask or cloth face covering, wash your hands frequently. Use hand sanitizer before and after wearing a mask if soap and water isn't available. Face mask coverings should fit snugly against the sides of the face while still allowing you to breathe. Use the ear loops when putting it on and when removing it. Be sure not to touch the mask while you're wearing it. Keep our community beautiful. Please throw away single-use paper masks. Reusable cloth masks should be stored in a paper bag until they're washed each day. Finally, maintain social distancing, at least 6 feet if possible. According to the CDC, coronavirus can still linger in the air even if a person isn't around.
Mask up, Manatee.
Mask Up Manatee.
Mask Up Manatee.
This message is brought to you by the Mask Up Manatee Coalition. Thank you for helping to keep our community safe and healthy.